had a little bit of fun and learned that sometimes you need to turn your mic on when you go live on YouTube. That was fun. That was so much fun. Not really. So if you ever go live on YouTube, make sure your mic's on because my mic was not on. So let me just start over. I wanted to talk a lot about prompt engineering and prompt engineering from OpenAI's platform. If you ever go to OpenAI's platform, ChatGPT, and you're looking for how to prompt engineer, or maybe you've never even heard of what prompt engineering is, and you're thinking, well, how do I use ChatGPT? Well, there's a formula. And that formula for mathematicians, they love formulas. As a scientist, I love a good formula. It balances. I know what's input and what's the output. Well, prompt engineering is just that. So if you love language and you're writing a paragraph and you want someone to understand something, you are writing a formula. Writing is a formula. So OpenAI, platform.openai.com, created this wonderful guide on how to prompt engineer. And it can be a bit overwhelming. And the first time I saw it, I went, nobody is reading this. Nobody's looking at it. But what my twin sister and I did is we wrote a book together and we decided that we wanted to put the prompt engineering formula in there for you. So I'm going to show it to you. I'm looking at my screen right now and I want to share my screen. And we're going to have just a quick look at what happens when you prompt engineer. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, think about writing a sentence. Think about, forgive me here while I just look up my prompt engineering formula because I don't want to give you some of it and not all of it. It's the idea of putting things together into ChatGPT. So if you've never seen ChatGPT, here it is. And you ask it something. That's basically what you're doing. But the better you are at the input, the more or better information you'll get out of ChatGPT or Gemini, Perplexity, whatever artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence that you want to use. So if you've never seen it, I will show you. This is what it looks like. Platform.openai.com. So let me just expand this for a little bit. This is a lot of jargon. So you can, if you ever want to read it, just go here. But there's text generation. It gives you there's this structured output. I don't know who wants to read this and look at this. This is Python programming language. But if you take your time and you go through it and you look for prompt engineering, it'll help you. You can search through it. But what I did is I created something that allows you, because I went through maybe not all of it, but the area where it says prompt engineering, and took the main pieces of the formula. So I'm going to tell you what they are, and I want to make sure I'm right. So there's the persona. It defines the perspective. Are you a real estate agent? Are you an educator, professor? That is your persona. It's who you really are. Maybe you want to pretend to be somebody. Maybe you are an author and you're thinking, I want to do something, but I'm not quite sure what persona I should come from. Then you give it context. What is the context of what you're trying to do? It's describing the background, the situation. Maybe there's an environment. Maybe you're in New York City. Maybe you're in Dubai. Giving it context. Then you give it a task. So you want to tell it what to do. It could be a question, but if you're very specific, it's a statement. You tell it what to do. You don't have to do all of these, by the way. All formulas don't have everything in it. You want to sometimes give it an exemplar or upload a document. You may want to copy something and say, I'm looking to do something like this. Help me with that. Maybe the document is an example of what you want. I remember when I was in the classroom with students and I needed them to write a research paper. My first year of teaching, I had to teach them how to do a research paper. I didn't even consider that they needed an example. Exemplar is an example. So what I started to do, which was great, is I would take the previous year's really good writing pieces, middle pieces, and pieces where they began at the beginning of the year writing, and I would give them to the students and say, this is where you might be at the beginning, but by the end of the school year, your research should look like this. Giving people examples. That's what elementary teachers do really good in kindergarten. They give examples of where we're trying to go. And then you can also have format and tone. Do you want it in bullet form? Do you want markdowns? Well, what's a markdown? Bold, italics, underline, headers, paragraphs, things like that. And then there's a tone. What voice do you want? Tone is really important if you are trying to edit an email before you send it, because you know you were just angry at the previous email. Well, if you are, don't send the email. You can put it into ChatGPT and say, make this more professional and less angry. You can tell ChatGPT to do that and then give it context. Here was the previous email that was sent to me. Don't put the person's name in there. I would like to send it back where I'm explaining what I need to do. So you can do things like that. So in ChatGPT, you can, put something in that is very, easy, and you can upload documents. I like to always go to, maybe let's, for fun, we can go in here and copy this. We can do copy, cut, paste, or we can just drag and drop, which sometimes that works really well. So we're just going to just copy this. We're going to take it and we're going to add it to the file. Now, if I'm adding it to the file, I'll go to my desktop, add it. And because ChatGPT has this mic, I'm just going to simply say, this is from the platform.openai's prompt engineering guide. Can you explain what they're trying to say in this piece? Make it simple for me as if I were a sixth grader. So in this situation, I gave it a task. I gave it an exemplar, or in this situation, just a document. I copied it. And then I didn't say that, but I think it might have thought I did. And then you just hit enter. Notice I didn't type it all. You used to have to type everything. I know that some people are really frustrated with, oh my gosh, students are never going to, or adults are never going to type again, but it gives me an output. So it will give you a better output based on how well the context and the task is. So what is it about? When computers and apps talk to each other, they need to share information in a way both can understand. They often use a format called, say it like JSON. Like it tells you how to actually pronounce some of these acronyms that we don't know. It's like sending a form with label boxes so the other computers know what each answer means. Now, I'm not saying you need to know any of this, but maybe you want to go to the prompt engineering guide and learn. Maybe there's a new language and you're like, please help me with this. Here is why it's useful: reliable results, clear safety rules, easier prompts. That is perfect. Let's say, you are in Chicago, Chicago market real estate PDF. Like maybe you're a real estate agent and you're thinking, I would like the forecast. So let's get the one that we can find here. I could download this. Well, it's forecast. We'll now go to a new prompt. We'll just hit new chat. We'll select add the file. We'll go to download. It's right there. Now, as it's uploading, I can say, I'm not a real estate agent, but I'm really curious about the market in Chicago. Can you, in bullet form, explain what this document is telling me about? And if there's any data, create a workable graph that will explain it to me. These are things that you can do using ChatGPT. And you can add to it if you wanted to write to it, but quickly, I didn't even have to type it. It tells me the purpose of the report. It tells me the entire state of Illinois, the Chicago metro area, and the city of Chicago. It gives me a chart, the big picture, prices, sales, inventory. It gives me an explanation. Now, what's really nice is I can copy this as a table and throw it into a Google Sheet or Excel. That's what that is. Now it tells me 3-month forecasts, economic conditions behind the trends. And this is easier than going to that PDF. I mean, let's just look at that PDF for a moment. Look at all of this. I don't want to read all of this. It gives me some data and graphs at the bottom, which I kind of do appreciate, but that's a lot of noise. Hence the reason why we wrote the book Noise to Navigation. How do you get rid of the noise so you can navigate using ChatGPT? So let's look. Did it create any graphs for me? No, but let's see what it says. Would you like me to turn this into simple graph dashboards? Let's just say yes. Yes, I would like you to turn this into a simple graph dashboard. Let's just send it. Why is that important? Why did it ask me a question? What ChatGPT has learned, because I have been using ChatGPT since November of 2022, it's learned what I like. It knows that I want to be involved in the conversation. So instead of it just doing a waterfall of information, it slows down. That's what's great about our book, is because we teach you how to slow down using ChatGPT so you're not part of the noise. So look, now it didn't create the graph. I don't see a graph, and I would like you to just create some graphs. Don't keep me in this conversation anymore. I just want you to do the graphs. You can do the comparison view, the trend view, and the forecast view, but just go ahead and do it. It really likes to keep me part of the conversation, which is great. I love being part of this conversation. And sometimes the graphs can take a little bit longer. You see that it's analyzing, but let's be clear. Those of you that remember in 1995, 6, 7, when we had to log in with AOL and you had that noise, this doesn't take so long. We have to be a little bit patient. We tend to want things in less than 2 seconds. And this, to me, you should be very patient with and let it create the actual information for you. This is something that you can do. So I'm going to minimize my screen so you can actually see that this you can, if you would like, if you're going to the National Association of Realtors conference, my twin sister and I are speaking, I believe at 11 a.m. on the 14th, TED Talk on Friday. And we will be talking about how to use generative AI, artificial intelligence, as a thought partner, AI buddy. And if you want to bring the book, we will sign it for you. It's half off on Amazon right now. Just type in Noise to Navigation. Type in my sister's name, Carrie J. Little, or my name, Mina J. Blazy, Mina Joe, Carrie Joe. And you should be able to find it. So here, I want to show you what it did with the graphs. And you want to vet this because it can hallucinate and not see the data the way you want. So you always want to check and verify before you present graphs. What's great about this is that I can just screenshot it. Sometimes it'll give it to me where I can download. If I tell it I want to be able to download this, it gives me trend views. Like this graph is easier to look at to me than these graphs. It even merged some graphs together. So this is wonderful. I love these graphs. Like it's forecast view, median sales price projections. Like this is Illinois as a whole. This is, I don't know what Chicago SF means. Somebody help me out. Even though I'm from Illinois, this is real estate jargon. And then Chicago Metro. Um, and maybe if I asked it, it would tell me. So this is very interesting information. I would want to look at this. Like, why is inventory changing for single family homes? You can't really find them, is the way I'm reading this. Tell me if I'm wrong. But this is interesting. And price changes, like you can't really find a house, so I guess prices would go up if you know that people can't really find one. Vegas is very different, by the way. So I do hope that this is helpful for you. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment, and tell me what you would like to know about using generative AI. It doesn't have to just be ChatGPT. Thank you so much for watching, and